What's up, guys? Let's go. Roll.
Open up to questions. Michelle,
You get to go first.
First one, and then Jordan will go back to you.
Okay.
So Michelle, take us away.
Michelle Gardner, Arizona Republic. I guess I'm going to start with the obvious, Coach, the wrapping up and the number of times that you guys had Caleb Williams in the grasp and he got the ball off or ran, and how do we fix that problem?
Got to grab cloth. You got to grab cloth. When you miss tackles, most of the time you're trying to wrap and you're grabbing, but you don't have anything in your hand. And the bottom line is you got to grab cloth.
Coach Jordan Ham, Sports 360 AZ back here. When you look at Washington's offense, a lot of newcomers from that weren't on the team last year. Just what jumps out to you about them in that passing game in particular?
Well, they got some athletes. That quarterback can stand in the pocket. He can make every throw. He's not on the perimeter as much as last week's quarterback as far as outside and running. But he's got a strong arm. He can throw that ball from near hash to far hash, which is good. And he's got control of the offense. He knows exactly where to go with the football.
Hey, Donnie. Chris Cartman, Son of a Source. Third down, two-part question. Third down defense, what'd you think? And then you brought more pressure, especially in the second half.
Did we? All right, just
you
checking.
did. You did. And so, how do you think that actually worked? Like how well did it look, and how successful do you think you were?
I think third down, their offense was pretty good. They were like 8 for 9. So third down, we wasn't successful like we were the week before. Week before, we were like 5 for 15, something like that on third down. So to answer your question, it wasn't successful. However, we did change the pace of the game by bringing more pressure, though. And I'll tell you what it did. It gave us a chance to see just how we played back there one-on-one as we move forward as far as playing, man coverages. I don't know how you guys felt, but I was pretty excited watching the game from above because when you sit there and you watch the game like I've talked to you guys before, what you want to do is see team defense. And I saw some of that. I really did. I mean, we were playing hard. We still make some mistakes that you say, hey, you got to quit making those. But as far as just competing, we were competing. We felt like we had a chance to win that game, and you could see that.
When you mentioned the man coverage and bringing more pressure, kind of dictating to the offense, when you're 1-4, does it kind of almost make sense that you would play even more aggressive, just as a nothing to lose mentality kind of?
I don't ever believe that you got nothing to lose. I mean, you gotta be thinking about winning, So to be a little bit more aggressive, all you're doing is trying to change the tempo of the game, really. When you start bringing more pressure, that's really what you're doing. You're trying to change the tempo of the game, or you're trying to add another guy for the run, or you're trying to do 2 guys back there for the pass. Basically, that's how I see it. The second half, we tried to speed up the tempo, so to speak, when we start bringing more pressure.
Hey, Donnie, Cole Bradley, Sun Devil Source. You guys have kind of been challenged by, some good quarterback play. Cam Rising, Utah, Spencer Sanders, Oklahoma State. Now you got, obviously Caleb Williams as well. Now you got Michael Penix Jr., Washington. Can you just talk a little bit about
You got anybody else?
We'll have to see, I guess.
You got anybody else you want me to talk about? You named them all.
But with him in particular, what are you seeing from him? Obviously, you talked a little bit about the arm.
I think that's what I noticed from him more than the other guys. This guy can stand in the pocket and he can deliver the ball. I mean, he's got a strong arm, and you know where he's going to be at. He's going to be in the pocket. He can stand back there and deliver that throw all around the field, and he knows exactly where to go with it. And he's got some playmakers on the outside, and he's got a little running back that can do his thing too. So that's what I noticed from him compared to all the other guys.
So how much of an emphasis you feel like it is with a guy who, like you said, sort of sits in the pocket and delivers the ball as opposed to, some two-way dual-threat guys who can scramble? How much of an importance do you think it is to establish more of a sound pressure against a guy like that this week?
When you get on that board and we start trying to draw these up, that's the first thing we better figure out how we keep him in the pocket. Number one, at least we know where he's at. And number two, you still got to make, when you start talking pressure all the time, you still got to think about the run too. So when you start bringing pressure, there's always a chance of run. Now, I know third down sounds like sometimes it's always going to be pass, but you still got to go through the situations as the 3rd and 1 to 2s, or the 3rd and 3 to 5s, and 3rd and 10s where they should be, throwing the ball. So you still got to think about run. But to answer your question, the biggest thing is making sure we know where he's at when we bring the pressure on the right situations, you know.
Coach Michael Caratino, Sideline Sports. When you talk about the run, obviously I know Dye had 2 touchdowns, but overall, I mean, defending the run against USC, how did you feel your defense adjusted throughout the game?
Well, let me think about that because, you know, they had 23 runs in the first half. And I don't know if I think they had about 70 yards, something like that. I'm not sure. I think it was 70, somewhere in there. But to answer your question, you still got to be able to stop the run. And it's like anything else. As the game gets going and they keep running the football and you don't stop it initially, you're going to have a problem with it. Sitting here talking about the run, that's the first thing we put on the board is how we're going to stop it. And again, it takes 11 guys to the football, and sometimes 10 because the corners are out of it, and you know sometimes 9 because they're rarely out of it. So when I start on the board, the first thing I do is say, how are we going to stop this run? Now, sometimes they're better runners, and you know the biggest thing with us is when you miss tackles. You know, you got guys there. You still got to wrap up the ball carry and tackle, just like you talked about. You know, you got to grab cloth. There's so many times we just, you know, guy run right through our arms and we got him. I mean, we're wrapped, we grab, and you know we don't grab cloth. So that's the biggest thing we talked about this week is grabbing cloth and wrapping up and getting more guys to the run.